Hello, hello. It's Speak Now 1, Lesson 24, Part A. Your phone is so cool. It's about describing features. What are features? Features are characteristics. And cool is nice, is another way to say nice. It is something that's not boring, not plain, not blunt. It's something interesting. And here we have the first exercise, that is the vocabulary. Write the opposite of each word. Use the words in the box. Oh, because you are going to agree with me. If we're talking about features, we're talking about adjectives in English. We're talking about heavy, cheap, large, bright, fast, thick, wide, and noisy. And we are talking about opposites. So we have other adjectives that are the opposites of these ones, that are small, quiet, narrow, slow, dark, expensive, light, and thin. Which ones are very easy for us? For example, I think that if we think about noisy, and you saw that you heard my mobile phone telling me something, like the alarm was showing I should do something. If it's noisy, there's the opposite, that is quiet. I think this one is easy. But there's also fast. Fast or fast is easy, but the opposite is the opposite easy too. I think you know that slow is the opposite of fast. Heavy. Heavy is also easy, because we talk about that all the time, I think. What's the opposite of heavy? The opposite of heavy is light. Light here. And cheap. Well, we've just talked about money, and we talked about this word that is cheap and the opposite of it. I believe we talked, at least in the lessons, about the adjective expensive. Large. Oh, that one is easy. In this part of the course, it's lesson 24. If we are talking about something that is large, we know that the opposite is small. Come on, easy, right? It's small. And bright. Bright, I don't remember, you might say. Okay, let's go to the other ones. Thick. It could be new. White. I don't think white is new. We have already talked about houses. Do you remember the lessons? If we talked about those flats, houses and things, maybe we talked about wide. For example, a corridor. It can be wide or it can be narrow, right? Aha. So we have narrow, the opposite of wide. So what are the two ones that are missing? Let me put here Q for quiet. Let me put an S for slow. And we have thick and we have bright. Bright has something to say with light. Luz. Not this light here. Light here is the opposite of heavy. Então é leve here. Strange, right? So the opposite of bright is something that is escuro. And come on, you know escuro, right? Why do you know that? Because sometimes you buy chocolate and you find dark chocolate. Like, what's the name of that one? Is it Kit Kat Dark? Because it has a darker chocolate in it. So we have the opposite of thick, that is thin. What are these? Well, we have thin. Have you seen thinner ou thinner? Aquele negócio que a gente põe na tinta para ela ralear? Então, por quê? Porque ela fica fina. Oh, por isso que é thinner. É. Então, the opposite of thick is also aguarrás? I don't think so. But thinner is the opposite of thick, because thick is espesso. Ou então, também pode querer dizer grosso e fino. Like this, grosso e fino. Alright, we are going to have this word in the dialogue in this lesson. But we also can refer to viscosidade. Então é sobre largura também, like wide and narrow. But wide and narrow, let's use a mobile phone. For example, this is wide and narrow. There's a wide mobile phone, there's a narrow mobile phone. But thick, thin, thick, thin, thick. You see, you have these differences. And these are the words. It's excellent if we learn pairs of words. Like we have the one word and we learn its pair. Like we learn the opposite. It's very good if we learn synonyms, but it's also very good if we learn the opposites, because it's easier to remember if we have the other ones. And we learn two words together. That's very positive. And for example, if we think about thin, thin is also magro, because it is like this. Okay, so the opposite of thin could be fat, que não tem nada a ver com thick. Thick é espesso, grosso. And fat é gordo. So you can refer to a person as thin, because it's the opposite of fat. But be careful, thin is not a very positive word to describe a person. Em vez de falar que ela é magra, no bom sentido, você está dizendo que ela é magricela. Sabe aquela pessoa seca? Ou, bom, these are the words. So, slim is a better word to describe a person's appearance. Okay? Slim is a much better word. Let's take a look at part B. Take turns describing things in your classroom. It can be in your house or in your office, depending on where you are watching that. Use the words above. For example, my desk is heavy. This book is light. It's noisy at concerts. It's not exactly at the classroom, right? It's quiet in the library. Oh, that's about the school, not the classroom, probably. So we can go and use these words connected to our work, our house, places. It's a bright, sunny day outside, for example. My wardrobe is large. This mouse is cheap. My computer is heavy. My mobile phone is light. A top mobile phone is expensive. The screen of my tablet is large. The battery is small. If I turn off the light, the room gets dark. You are learning fast. I would say that Rubinho Barrichello was slow, but he wasn't. He was sometimes very fast and ahead of his opponents. So there's the joke, but I don't agree with that. He was a very good driver and racer, and well, I support him. Thick. I wouldn't say that my mobile phone is thick, so I think it's thin. If we use it in the horizontal position, it gets wide. If I use it in the vertical position, it gets narrow. Sometimes this street is noisy while I'm recording the video. I wish it were quiet. These are some words. I dare you. Can you write some 2 or 3 messages, 2 or 3 sentences in the messages using these words? Please do that. I'd love to see your sentences using these words. Any of these words, right? Take the ones that you feel more comfortable with. Look at this picture. This is Iris with her new mobile phone. Let's learn a little about her phone using the words that we've just talked about. Listen, what is Iris's phone like? Iris's. Look at the pronunciation. And Shinki, você não fala sempre que é apóstrofe S? Okay. Look, we have some opposites here. Let's see. Pedro. Phone. If I want to say that the phone is from Pedro, Pedro owns the phone, I can simply say Pedro's phone. I use the apostrophe S. This is called genitive case. It means that the phone belongs to Pedro, right? The phone belongs to Pedro. All right. But the point is that you saw Iris phone. Cadê o apostrophe? Well, according to the grammar, to English grammar, to the English grammar, you can write Iris's phone. And pay attention to the pronunciation. There's no S here, right? So it's Pedro's phone. But as you have an S here, Iris, you have to show that the phone, sorry. Do you remember Mobral? I always say that when I commit mistakes like this. As you said, the S for Iris, Carlos, Johannes, and then you have apostrophe S. You have to show the genitive case, and you say Iris this phone. And here, as you have already the S, you don't have to write the other S here, but you can. All right, you can, but you don't have to. So in the book they didn't put, but it's still Iris's phone. And why don't you have to put the apostrophe if you have to put at Pedro's phone? The point is that in English, if we have something that is singular, you, like Pedro, one person, you use apostrophe S. But if you have plural, you don't put the apostrophe S, like the boy's house. It's only one boy, and we talking about the house that belongs to the boy, or where the boy lives. Probably the house isn't the boy's. But if there are two boys, you say the boys, right? The boys are playing. The boys live in that house. So that house is where the boys live, or that is the boys' house, right? The boys' house. And here you can't put the S. You can't put the S because the S is the plural, and the plural is here already. The boys' house. So it's S apostrophe, not S apostrophe S. Don't know why, but this is how it works. I can't go and talk to the Queen about this. And if I could talk to the Queen, I wouldn't talk about the genitive case, right? So let's go back to the dialogue and listen to it. And the point is that we have two questions to answer. What is Iris's phone like? And what does Iris watch on her? What does Iris watch on her new phone? Let me play. Pay attention.
Lesson 24. Your phone is so cool. Page 58. Conversation. A. Listen. What is Iris's phone like? What does Iris watch on her new phone?
Is that a new phone?
Yeah, it has a cool design.
Can I see? Wow, it's very light. Do you ever watch movies on it?
No, but I watch videos a lot. It has a really big screen.
It does. How's the camera?
Great. Here, I'll take your picture.
Nice. Does it have many games?
No, but I can buy some cool game apps.
All right. What is Iris's phone like? We have to find here things that describe the phone. All right. I can find some things here that would describe the phone, Iris's phone. And what does Iris watch on her new phone? Does she watch films, videos, movies? She says no, but she watches something. What does she watch? And you tell me in the comments below, or we talk during the live lesson. This is it. In the live lesson, we are going to practice the conversation. If you are alone watching the video at YouTube, why don't you go back a bit and watch again the part of the dialogue, and then you repeat the sentences. It's very good practice to develop your speaking. After that, we have part B, in which we have to get these sentences that are with colors. Let me put the whole dialogue. These ones, green, blue, and we have to exchange with these here, like, then exchange the blue and green words above with the words below and practice the dialogue again. So instead of saying, yeah, it has a cool design, you are going to say, yeah, isn't it cool? Não é legal? Can I see? Wow, it's very light, not heavy. And then Mario says, it's really thin, not thick. And do you ever watch movies on it? No, but I watch videos a lot. Do you ever watch movies on it? Yeah, I can download movies. Wow, that's very interesting, by the way. And I'll take your picture. Nice. Does it have many games? I'll take your picture. Nice. Are there many games? Are there? Tem. Okay. So these are the new sentences, and we are going to practice that in the live lesson. But if you're watching the video at YouTube and you are alone, why don't you go back, play the dialogue, but now looking at these sentences, you practice the sentences, the dialogue with the new sentences, and then you repeat the phrases from the audio, and then you include these ones, or you exchange these ones per the new ones. That's very good practice. And if possible, try to remember these words, these sentences. Okay? This is very good practice. I hope you liked the video and see you in the live lesson. Bye bye.